Have you ever asked why a loving God would let something so painful happen to you when you were only trying to love? Have you ever wondered whether your broken heart is a punishment or a strange kind of protection you cannot see yet? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a question people whisper late at night when the house is quiet and the mind will not stop replaying memories. Why did God let you get a broken heart? Two ideas will guide everything we explore. First, heartbreak often strips away illusions you could not release any other way, and that stripping can become the beginning of awakening. Second, pain becomes destiny only when it hardens you, but pain becomes wisdom when it humbles you, refines you, and pushes you toward compassion, clarity, and a cleaner kind of love. Let us step into a story because stories let you feel the lesson instead of only thinking about it. Imagine a person named Elena, not a real name, but a real pattern. Elena was the kind of person who loved with devotion, not loud devotion, not dramatic devotion, but loyal devotion. She believed love meant staying. She believed love meant patience. She believed love meant giving the benefit of the doubt. She also believed that if she did enough, the relationship would become safe. Elena met a man named Marcus. Marcus had a calm voice and a confident walk. He spoke about faith and purpose. He said he wanted a future. He said he wanted a family. He said he wanted all of that honors God. Elena felt relief. She thought, finally, someone whose words match my values. At the beginning, everything looked aligned. They prayed sometimes. They talked about what kind of home they wanted. Marcus told Elena she was rare. Elena felt chosen. And the feeling of being chosen can be intoxicating when you have spent years feeling invisible. But slowly the cracks appeared. Marcus would promise and then delay. Marcus would speak warmly and then vanish into silence. Marcus would compliment Elena in public and dismiss her concerns in private. If Elena asked for clarity, Marcus would say she was overthinking. If Elena cried, Marcus would say she was too sensitive. Then, when Elena started to pull back, Marcus would suddenly become sweet again and say he could not lose her. This is how many broken hearts are built, not from one moment, but from a pattern that keeps your nervous system uncertain. Uncertainty makes you try harder. Trying harder makes you abandon yourself. Abandoning yourself makes you more anxious. Anxiety makes you accept less than you deserve. And then you call it love because you have invested so much. Elena did not see the trap at first. She was not foolish. She was hopeful. Hope can blur red flags when you want something to be true. Then one day, after months of mixed signals, Marcus ended it. He did not even end it with clear honesty. He used spiritual language. He said he needed to focus on his walk. He said God was leading him somewhere else. He said Elena deserved better. He said many things that sounded respectful while still leaving her confused. Elena went home and sat on the floor. She felt like the air was gone. She felt like her chest was too tight for her own heart. She tried to pray, but her thoughts were louder than her words. She kept asking one question: why would God let this happen if I was trying to do it right? This question is ancient. People have asked it in different forms forever. Why does love hurt? Why do good intentions still lead to loss? Why do we suffer if God is good? Here is the first thing Elena had to learn. A broken heart does not always mean God is absent. Sometimes a broken heart is the exact place where you stop worshiping the relationship and start returning to God, to truth, to your own soul, to wisdom. Because sometimes we do not realize what we have made into an idol until it is taken away. An idol can be anything you believe you cannot live without. The relationship becomes the altar. The person becomes the proof of your worth. The future you imagine becomes the oxygen you think you need. And without noticing, you begin praying to a human outcome instead of living in faith. Elena hated that idea at first. She thought it sounded harsh. She thought it sounded like blame. But over time, she saw what it meant in a gentler way. It meant she had placed her identity inside Marcus. She had made his attention the measure of her value. She had made his consistency the foundation of her peace. And no human being can carry that weight without crushing you. So heartbreak was not only loss, it was a reveal. It revealed how much Elena had been negotiating her needs to keep love. It revealed how much she had been accepting confusion because she was afraid to lose him. It revealed how she had been calling anxiety a spiritual sign. It revealed how she had been hoping for potential instead of honoring reality. In spiritual terms, heartbreak can be a kind of holy interruption. It interrupts denial. It interrupts fantasy. It interrupts the pattern that would have kept you smaller. But that does not mean God caused Marcus to harm her. It means God can use even human dysfunction to lead you back to truth. Now Elena entered the hardest season, the season after the ending, because the relationship ended. But her attachment did not end yet. Her mind kept searching for explanations. Her heart kept hoping for a message. Her body kept expecting the familiar rhythm. She checked her phone constantly. She reread old texts. She replayed conversations and tried to find the moment she could have saved it. She blamed herself for being too emotional. She blamed herself for not being emotional enough. She blamed herself for caring. She blamed herself for believing him. This is what heartbreak does when it is unprocessed. It turns your mind into a courtroom and your heart into the defendant. You feel guilty for being human. So, how did God allow it? What could be the reason? Let us talk about reasons in a way that brings comfort and truth without turning pain into a cute slogan. Sometimes God allows heartbreak to expose what you were tolerating. If you never face the truth, you may keep repeating the same pattern. The heartbreak becomes the boundary you could not set. It becomes the ending you refused to choose. Sometimes God allows heartbreak to protect you from a future you cannot see. You might have been building a life on a foundation that would not hold. You might have married someone who would have harmed you deeper. You might have tied yourself to a person who uses faith as a mask. The breakup feels cruel now, but later you might realize it saved you. Sometimes God allows heartbreak to grow your spiritual maturity, not by making you suffer for entertainment, but by forcing you to confront what you cling to. When life is comfortable, many people stay asleep. When the heart breaks, you finally look inward. You finally ask deeper questions. You finally stop running. Sometimes God allows heartbreak to teach you that love is not supposed to cost you self-respect. Many people confuse sacrifice with devotion. They think being good means enduring. They think being faithful means staying even when the other person is unsafe. Heartbreak can teach you that faith does not require self-betrayal. Elena slowly began to see that her pain was carrying messages, not messages from Marcus, but messages from her own soul. The first message was simple: stop abandoning yourself. Elena had been abandoning herself in small ways, saying yes when she meant no, staying quiet when she felt hurt, pretending she was fine when she was anxious, laughing off disrespect to keep the peace. The heartbreak made that impossible to ignore. Now every time she remembered a moment of self-betrayal, her chest tightened. Her body was telling her the truth she had silenced. The second message was also simple: learn to love with wisdom. Elena realized she had been practicing love like a test. If I love well enough, I will be chosen. That is not love. That is bargaining. Real love does not bargain for safety through self-erosion. Real love involves mutuality. Real love includes honesty. Real love includes boundaries. Real love does not require you to beg for basic presence. The third message was the deepest. Your worth is not decided by who stays. This is the most difficult lesson for many people because rejection touches a primal fear. It touches the fear that you are not enough. But faith teaches something different. You are already loved. Your value is not negotiated. It is given. Elena began rebuilding her life like someone rebuilding a house after a storm. Slowly, carefully, one beam at a time. First, she rebuilt her nervous system. She learned that heartbreak is not only emotional, it is physical. It affects sleep, appetite, energy, focus. It can feel like withdrawal because attachment creates chemical patterns in the body. When the person is gone, the body panics. So Elena practiced regulation. She walked daily. She drank water. She ate even when she did not want to. She turned off social media rigors. She stopped stalking Marcus online, not because she hated him, but because she wanted to heal. Then she rebuilt her mind. She noticed the thoughts that kept her trapped. The thought that said, "I will never love again." The thought that said, "I wasted my time." The thought that said, "God abandoned me." The thought that said, "I cannot survive this." Instead of fighting those thoughts, she learned to name them. This is fear. This is grief. This is longing. This is shame. Naming is powerful. When you name a thought, you create distance from it. You stop being possessed by it. Then she rebuilt her spirit. At first, prayer felt hard. She felt angry. She felt confused. So she stopped trying to sound holy and started being honest. She prayed like this: God, I am hurt. I do not understand. I miss him. I feel rejected. I feel foolish. I feel alone. Please hold me because I do not know how to hold myself right now. That prayer did not solve everything instantly, but it opened the door to a kind of comfort that is not based on circumstances. It opened the door to presence. Over time, Elena began to feel small moments of peace. Not constant peace, just moments. A calm breath, a quiet morning, a laugh with a friend, a sunset that made her chest soften. Those moments are important. They are proof that your heart still works. They are proof that life still contains beauty. They are proof that you are not permanently broken. Now let us talk about something many people do not want to hear but often need. Sometimes God lets you get a broken heart because your heart was too attached to the wrong thing. And attachment can look like love while secretly being fear. Fear says, I cannot be okay without you. Love says, I want you and I can still be okay if life changes. Fear says, I must control this outcome. Love says, I will be present and honest, and I will accept what is true. Fear says, I will shrink to keep you. Love says, I will be myself and let what fits remain. Elena realized much of her relationship had been fear dressed as devotion. Again, this is not blame. This is awakening. When you see fear, you can choose faith. Faith is not pretending everything is fine. Faith is trusting you can walk through pain without losing your soul. Now here is another deeper layer. Heartbreak can be a purification of your love. Many people carry love mixed with ego. Ego needs to be chosen to feel worthy. Ego needs control to feel safe. Ego needs validation to feel real. When love is mixed with ego, relationships become unstable because they depend on constant reassurance. Heartbreak can burn away ego attachment. Not fully, not instantly, but slowly. It can teach you to love from wholeness. It can teach you to choose partners who choose you. It can't teach you to stop chasing. Ilana started noticing how often she tried to prove herself. She tried to prove she was worthy. She tried to prove she was easy to love. She tried to prove she was not too much. She tried to prove she was the kind of woman a man would keep. When she saw that, she felt grief because she realized she had been performing, and performance is exhausting. So she made a quiet vow: I will not audition for love again. That vow became her new boundary. Now let us connect this to the idea of karma in a grounded way, because many of you are here for spiritual meaning. Karma is the momentum of patterns. If Elena learned early in life that love must be earned, she may have been drawn to partners who make her earn it. That is not because she wants pain. It is because the nervous system recognizes what is familiar. Heartbreak can be the moment you finally see the pattern clearly. The pattern might be choosing emotionally unavailable people. The pattern might be staying too long. The pattern might be ignoring your intuition. The pattern might be rescuing partners. The pattern might be confusing intensity with destiny. When you see the pattern, you can change the pattern. And changing the pattern is clearing karma in real time. Elena began asking herself new questions when she met new people or when she thought about dating again. Do I feel calm with this person, or do I feel anxious? Do I feel respected, or do I feel like I must earn basic kindness? Do their actions match their words? Do I feel like I can speak honestly without fear? Do I feel more like myself or less like myself? These questions are simple, but they are powerful. They are the difference between repeating and awakening. Now let us talk about the phrase "God let you get a broken heart because many videos make this sound like a dramatic prophecy, but the truth is more intimate and more practical. God may let your heart break because it is time to build your life on something deeper than romance. God may let your heart break because it is time to learn boundaries. God may let your heart break because you were about to settle for all of that would have slowly erased you. God may let your heart break because your compassion needs to mature into discernment. God may let your heart break because your faith needs to become internal rather than dependent on a person. God may let your heart break because you are ready to become the kind of person who can love with wisdom rather than desperation. Notice none of these reasons make heartbreak feel fun. They simply give it meaning. Meaning is not a replacement for grief. Meaning is what helps you carry grief without becoming bitter. Now Elena reached a moment that many people reach. The moment when the ex returns. Marcus sent a message months later. He said he missed her. He said he made a mistake. He said he was confused back then. He said he still cared. He said all the words that trigger hope. Elena felt her body react. Her heart raced. Her mind started imagining reunion. But something was different. She had changed. She did not respond instantly. She sat with her feelings. She asked herself what was true. Was Marcus offering real change or emotional relief? Was he taking responsibility or seeking comfort? Was his message consistent with a new pattern, nor just nostalgia? Elena decided to meet him in a public place for a short conversation. She was not naive. She was simply willing to be honest. Marcus talked. He sounded sincere. Then Elena asked one question. What exactly have you changed in your life and in your behavior? Marcus did not have clear answers. He spoke in vague spiritual language again. He said he was praying. He said he was learning. But there were no concrete steps, no accountability, no humility, no plan. Elena felt the old part of her want to rescue him. The old part wanted to believe. The old part wanted to avoid the grief of finality. Then the new part of her spoke quietly, the part that had been formed by pain and practice, the part that had learned wisdom. She said, "I wish you well. I forgive you, and I am not going back to confusion. If you ever become someone who can show up with consistency and respect, your life will benefit, but my life is moving forward." Marcus looked shocked, not because she was cruel, because she was clear. Elena walked away and cried in her car, not because she regretted her decision, because she was finally closing the door. Closing a door can feel like another heartbreak, but it is also liberation. That day, Elena realized something important about God and heartbreak. Sometimes the miracle is not that the relationship is restored. Sometimes the miracle is that you are restored. Now I want to bring this closer to you because you might be in the early stage of heartbreak right now. If you are, your pain might feel endless. It is not endless. It is intense. And intensity changes. Here is what can help you in the moments when you feel like you cannot breathe. Return to the present moment. Your mind is traveling to the past and future. The body can bring you back. Feel your feet. Feel your hands. Take one slow breath. Tell yourself one true sentence. This hurts and I will survive this hour. Choose one small act of care. Drink water. Eat a small meal. Walk outside. Call someone safe. Sit quietly and let tears come. Do not interpret your pain as proof you made the wrong choice. Pain is not always a warning. Sometimes pain is the cost of growth. Also, do not confuse the urge to contact them with destiny. The urge is attachment. Attachment is human, but you do not have to obey every urge. If you keep reopening the wound, it will keep bleeding. Boundaries help the wound close. Now let us talk about the kind of love that comes after a refined heart. A refined heart is not a cold heart. It is a wise heart. It still loves, but it does not beg. It still feels, but it does not chase chaos. It still hopes, but it does not build a life on potential alone. Elena eventually met someone named Jonah. Jonah was not dramatic. Jonah was consistent. Jonah did not use spiritual words to avoid responsibility. Jonah did not vanish when emotions appeared. Jonah listened. Jonah repaired after conflict. Jonah valued clarity. At first, Elena felt suspicious. Calm felt unfamiliar. She was used to the emotional roller coaster. She wondered if calm meant boring. Then she realized something. Boring was not boring. Boring was peace. Peace felt strange because she had not lived there. Elena chose peace. That choice is one of the greatest spiritual choices a human can make. To choose peace over adrenaline. To choose mutuality over chasing. To choose truth over fantasy. To choose all of that makes you more yourself. And here is the final spiritual point. A broken heart can open you to compassion for others. After Elena healed, she became gentler with friends who were struggling. She stopped judging people who stayed too long. She understood the power of attachment. She understood the fear of loneliness. She understood how hope can blind you. Her pain became empathy. This is one of the most sacred transformations, when your suffering becomes a bridge instead of a wall. Now let me close with a reflection that many people carry deep inside. You may never fully understand why that person left. You may never get a satisfying explanation, but you can still get closure. Closure is not what they give you. Closure is what you give yourself when you stop returning to the same wound for answers that will not heal you. God may have allowed your heartbreak to lead you back to yourself, to lead you back to faith that does not depend on a person, to lead you back to wisdom, to lead you back to compassion with boundaries, to lead you back to a love that is clean. Thank you for being here with me today. If this touched something in you, share your story in the comments in your own words. What did heartbreak teach you? What illusion did it break? What part of you did it awaken? Your story might be the exact medicine someone else needs tonight. If you want more long-form talks about love, healing, karma, wisdom, and compassion, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment so this community can keep growing. And if you want to support the work even more, consider joining as a member. Until next time, keep breathing, keep practicing, and remember that a broken heart is not the end of love. It can be the beginning of wiser love.